You wake up at 3 a.m. to the sound of footsteps in your hallway. But when you check, nobody is there. Your heart pounds as you lie back down, telling yourself it was just the house settling. But deep inside, you know something feels different. That unexplained knocking, the whispered sounds that seem to come from nowhere, the creaking that follows no logical pattern. You are not going crazy, and you are not alone in experiencing this. What you are hearing are not random noises, but carefully orchestrated spiritual communications, urgent messages from realms beyond our physical understanding, trying desperately to capture your attention before something significant unfolds in your life. Tonight I will reveal the hidden spiritual warnings encoded in every strange noise that disrupts your sleep, decode the ancient language of otherworldly communication that has been speaking to humanity for millennia, and show you exactly how to interpret these nocturnal messages so you can protect yourself, your loved ones, and navigate the spiritual guidance being offered to you right now. Before we dive deep into these mystical revelations, I want to invite you to join our spiritual family by subscribing to this channel. This is not just about numbers or statistics. This is about creating a sacred space where seekers like yourself can discover the hidden truths that most people never recognize. When you subscribe and ring that notification bell, you become part of a community that understands the deeper layers of existence, where every video we share contains carefully researched spiritual wisdom that can transform how you perceive the signs and messages surrounding you every single day. Your subscription helps us continue bringing these important spiritual insights to people who truly need them. So please take a moment to subscribe now, and let us guide you through the mysterious world of spiritual communication that most people completely overlook. The spiritual realm operates on frequencies and vibrations that exist just beyond the reach of our normal waking consciousness, and nighttime represents the most powerful window for otherworldly communication because our logical mind relaxes its protective barriers, allowing subtle energies and spiritual presences to make contact with us through sound, which is pure vibrational energy that can carry messages across dimensional boundaries. When you hear unexplained noises at night, you are experiencing what ancient mystics called the hour of spiritual communion, a sacred time when the veil between worlds becomes thin enough for spirits, guides, angels, and even departed loved ones to reach through and deliver crucial information about your life path, upcoming challenges, hidden dangers, or opportunities that require your immediate attention. The most common spiritual warning manifests as repetitive knocking sounds, usually occurring in sets of 3, which represents divine completion and spiritual awakening in countless traditions across the globe. When you hear 3 distinct knocks with no apparent source, the spiritual realm is announcing the presence of a protective guide who has urgent information about a decision you need to make, a relationship that requires your attention, or a situation developing in your life that needs careful consideration. This knocking often increases in frequency and intensity when you ignore the initial warnings, as your spiritual guides become more insistent about delivering their message before critical timing passes and opportunities for protection or guidance are lost forever. Footsteps without a physical source carry some of the most profound spiritual warnings you can receive, and the pattern, rhythm, and direction of these phantom steps contain specific coded information about the nature of the message being delivered. Heavy, slow footsteps moving toward your bedroom often indicate that ancestral spirits or family members who have passed are approaching to warn you about repeating family patterns, generational curses, or inherited behaviors that are blocking your spiritual growth and personal success. Light, quick footsteps that seem to pace back and forth suggest anxious spiritual energy surrounding a decision you are avoiding, while footsteps that fade away into silence represent missed opportunities or guidance that you failed to acknowledge when it was first offered to you. Whispered voices or conversations that seem to come from empty rooms are among the most direct forms of spiritual communication, though they require careful discernment because not all spiritual voices have your best interests in mind. Gentle, barely audible whispers that speak your name or familiar words usually originate from guardian angels or spirit guides trying to comfort you during difficult times or prepare you for positive changes approaching your life. However, urgent whispers that create feelings of fear, anxiety, or confusion may be warnings about negative energies, toxic people, or dangerous situations that your conscious mind has not yet recognized. and these messages should prompt you to examine your current relationships, living situation, or recent decisions with greater spiritual awareness. I know many of you watching this have experienced these mysterious nighttime sounds, and I want you to know that sharing your story creates a powerful, energetic connection that helps others feel less alone in their spiritual journey. Have you ever woken up to unexplained noises that left you wondering if something beyond the physical was trying to communicate with you? I want to hear about your personal experiences because every story adds to our collective understanding of how the spirit world reaches out to guide and protect us. Please share in the comments below by copying and pasting this phrase. I heard unexplained sounds, and now I understand they were spiritual messages. Then tell us what happened and how you felt, because your story might be exactly what someone else needs to hear to recognize the spiritual guidance in their own life. Musical sounds without any obvious source, such as distant melodies, humming, or chiming, represent some of the most beautiful and uplifting forms of spiritual communication, often delivered by angels or highly evolved spiritual beings who use harmonic frequencies to adjust your energy field, heal emotional wounds, or prepare your consciousness for receiving divine inspiration and creative downloads. When you hear celestial music at night, particularly compositions that evoke feelings of peace, love, or transcendence, you are being blessed with direct angelic intervention in your life, and these experiences usually precede periods of significant spiritual growth, artistic breakthroughs, or the manifestation of long-held dreams and desires that align with your soul purpose. Electronic disturbances, appliances turning on or off without explanation, and strange buzzing or humming sounds from devices represent technological spiritual communication, a modern phenomenon where spirits learn to manipulate electrical fields to deliver their messages through the very technology that dominates our daily lives. When your phone rings with no caller, your television changes channels on its own, or electrical appliances behave erratically during the night hours, you are witnessing spirit communication through electromagnetic manipulation. And these events typically occur when spirits need to warn you about digital dangers, online deceptions, technology addiction, or the need to disconnect from virtual distractions and reconnect with your authentic spiritual nature. Animal sounds that seem unusual for your location or time of night carry powerful totemic messages from the natural spiritual realm, where every creature serves as a messenger between the earthly and divine dimensions. Owls hooting persistently outside your window bring warnings about hidden enemies, deception, or secrets that will soon be revealed, while the sound of cats yowling or dogs howling without apparent cause indicates that negative spiritual energy is present in your environment and protective measures need to be taken immediately. Birds singing at unusual hours, particularly crows, ravens, or hawks, announce the approach of significant life changes, spiritual initiations, or the need to pay attention to upcoming opportunities that could alter your destiny if you remain alert and spiritually prepared. Scratching, scraping, or clawing sounds within walls or ceilings often indicate that restless spirits or unresolved energies are trapped in your living space, usually connected to previous occupants, traumatic events that occurred in the location, or negative emotional residue from conflicts, arguments, or emotional pain that took place in your home. These sounds represent spiritual beings trying to communicate their need for acknowledgement, forgiveness, or energetic clearing so they can move on to their proper place in the spiritual hierarchy. And ignoring these signs can lead to escalating disturbances, emotional heaviness, or unexplained obstacles in your personal and professional life until the spiritual matter is properly addressed through cleansing, blessing, or professional spiritual intervention. Water sounds without any plumbing activity, such as dripping, flowing, or splashing, connect to the spiritual element of water, which governs emotions, intuition, psychic abilities, and spiritual cleansing, and these auditory messages usually appear when you need to pay attention to your emotional state, trust your intuitive feelings about people or situations, or recognize that spiritual purification is necessary in your life. The sound of water often precedes prophetic dreams, psychic revelations, or emotional healing experiences that will help you release old pain and embrace a more spiritually aligned existence where your natural intuitive abilities can flourish and guide you toward your highest good. Metallic sounds like bells, chimes, or clanging without any physical source represent communication from higher dimensional beings who use metallic frequencies to break through the density of physical reality and deliver messages of protection, spiritual awakening, or divine timing that relates to important decisions or life transitions you are currently facing. These sounds often occur before major spiritual initiations, soulmate encounters, career changes, or geographic moves that will align you more closely with your divine purpose. And the clarity and beauty of these metallic tones usually corresponds to the positive nature of the spiritual guidance being offered. Mechanical sounds, such as motors running, machinery humming, or rhythmic tapping, often indicate that spiritual forces are working behind the scenes to orchestrate events in your physical reality, adjusting circumstances, removing obstacles, or preparing pathways for manifestations and blessings that you have been requesting through prayer, meditation, or positive intention. These sounds represent the spiritual machinery of the universe operating on your behalf, and they typically intensify during periods when major life changes are being arranged by divine intervention, requiring your patience, trust, and continued spiritual practice while unseen forces align people, opportunities, and circumstances to serve your highest good. Wind sounds or air movement inside closed spaces without any logical explanation connect to the spiritual element of air, which governs communication, mental clarity, divine inspiration, and the breath of life that connects all spiritual beings across all dimensions of existence. When you hear unexplained wind or air currents at night, spiritual messengers are literally breathing life into new ideas, creative projects, or spiritual insights that will soon emerge in your consciousness. And these experiences often precede periods of enhanced psychic ability, prophetic dreaming, or direct divine communication through meditation, prayer, or spontaneous spiritual experiences that will deepen your connection to universal wisdom. Temperature-related sounds, such as sudden expansion, contraction, or cracking noises that cannot be explained by normal heating and cooling cycles, represent spiritual energy shifts that occur when powerful spiritual presences enter or leave your environment. And these temperature fluctuations often accompany visits from guardian angels, spirit guides, or departed loved ones who are adjusting the energetic frequency of your space to match their vibrational signature so they can communicate more effectively. Cold spots that create cracking sounds usually indicate the presence of earthbound spirits seeking help or acknowledgement, while warm energy that causes expansion sounds suggests that high vibrational beings such as angels or ascended masters are blessing your space with protective and healing energy. Rhythmic or patterned sounds that repeat in specific sequences carry numerological spiritual messages where the number of repetitions, the timing between sounds, and the overall pattern correspond to sacred numerical codes that have been used throughout history to convey divine guidance about timing, spiritual lessons, or cosmic alignments that affect your personal spiritual development. When you notice sounds repeating in patterns of specific numbers, research the spiritual meaning of those numbers in numerology and sacred geometry to decode the precise message being delivered, because these mathematical spiritual communications often contain extremely specific guidance about timing for important decisions, relationship changes, career moves, or spiritual practices that will accelerate your evolution and alignment with your soul mission. These nighttime spiritual communications represent just the beginning of a vast network of divine guidance that surrounds you every moment of every day, waiting for you to develop the awareness and sensitivity to recognize the constant flow of spiritual information that could transform every aspect of your life if you learn to listen with your heart instead of dismissing these experiences with your logical mind. The more you acknowledge and respect these spiritual messages, the more clearly and frequently they will come to you, creating an ongoing dialogue with the divine realm that can guide you through every challenge, protect you from unseen dangers, and lead you toward the fulfillment of your highest spiritual potential in this lifetime. I encourage you to start keeping a spiritual journal where you record every unexplained sound, the time it occurred, your emotional state, and any significant events that happen in the following days, because patterns will emerge that reveal the precise ways your spiritual guides communicate with you personally. If this video has opened your eyes to the spiritual significance of sounds you previously ignored, please show your appreciation by hitting the like button and sharing this wisdom with others who need to understand the spiritual messages they are receiving. Subscribe to our channel and ring the notification bell so you never miss the spiritual insights that could change your life. And remember that every strange sound in the night is an invitation to deepen your relationship with the divine forces that are constantly working to guide, protect, and bless your spiritual journey in ways you are only beginning to discover.